Hey. It's been quite a few days, I know. Been busy. Life be life, and we all go through that, right? Some days are good, some days are like, what was that? But I had gone to an herbal store I love to go to, and I met one of the coolest ladies, and we kept talking and talking and talking, and I just I eventually had to be like, sorry, my daughter's in the car and I know she's probably getting mad. And I didn't even catch her name. And she had me thinking, had me realizing a lot of things actually without her even knowing that she helped me accept things about myself I didn't really know about myself. I've worked for years to understand things that would come to mind to me, and I'm like, why am I even thinking this? I don't know if you ever get like that. You think of something and then you just want to look into it. I used to go down what I called rabbit holes of knowledge. And it was started with I just want to look at why that came to mind. Before I knew it, I was looking at physics and chemistry and botany, and started creating my own products, started doing my own things, started getting knowledgeable. It's fun, it's useful. But she was talking about a situation that she had been going through with a family member. And like I had to tell her, just tell them to hang on. Find the courage and the strength to fight those demons. Because I think a lot of us forget that when we're not, and I want to say normal. Some people have a very big heart. That's not normal in this society. That's not what people are okay doing because they've been hurt, right? A lot of people have been hurt. A lot of us go through pain. We're born into a world of toxicity and misunderstanding and misguidance and judgment, and that's the world that we're meant to traverse to find understanding and acceptance of our own self. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot for you to look at yourself and go, I kind of see how I used to do that. I do that. I didn't realize I still did that. And other people's actions often help us to take accountability for our own actions because, like I said, we don't necessarily notice it. We don't like what other people are doing and might find ourselves complaining about them. And then if we take a step back and go, well, shoot, I just did that. But don't beat yourself up, especially when you can acknowledge it. Because when you can acknowledge it, what do they say? Acceptance is the first step to healing. When you can admit it. When you can look at the whole picture and say, okay, I want to be a better person, because that's the necessity in any part of healing. You have to want it. You have to believe in it. You have to know without a shadow of a doubt. And that comes back to faith. You have to have the faith that things are going to work out, that you're going to get bigger and better. We all have the chance. There are possibilities for all of us to find our higher selves. It's just having to look beyond the shadows and the illusions and the hatred and the hurt. Because believe me, especially right now with Mercury retrograde, that past is coming up. And then we have the solar eclipse tomorrow. That's going to shed light on a lot of things. Someone told me the other day there was an earthquake up in New York, and I was like, wow. And then what's going on in Hollywood? Like I told her, I said, I don't watch the news. I used to. I used to track everything. I wanted to know everything. And then at one point I became walking Google, and I was like, there's some things I don't need to know, because once you know it, you can't unknow it. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. My lips are peeling at this point, actually. And I guess it's the weather changing. I had to turn my back to the sun today, which is not common. I normally bask in it. I know I'm changing subjects, but they're bothering me. So, anyways, it got to a point Maybe that's where I'm supposed to be heading in this conversation. Turning your back to something that used to bring you warmth. You know, turning your back against... Sorry, hold on. Y'all be getting ready with me. Turning your back against something that used to give you comfort. Because I'll share a story. I met somebody. I was living in a motel with my kids and working and barely getting paid anything. $7.50 an hour. He paid me enough to let me survive, but not enough to get out. It was kind of a catch-22. And eventually I had to manifest my way out of that. Well, I didn't know that who came along, the person I thought would be my ride or die, you know. We're going to do this forever. It ended up being another devilish energy. And at that time I thought, oh, I know my intuition all too well. I'm very tapped in and turned on, and I am guided and protected, and I believed highly back then that only good things were coming to me because I deserved them. It had been years of toxicity and abuse and mental and emotional torture. So I thought, there's no way. This person is too perfect. And who knew? I reached back out to the devil. Never realizing it was a chance to say, have you really learned? And believe me, before I gave him a chance, there were so many people I turned away because I just knew they were off energetically. But it was funny when he came along, that little girl right there, she's my intuitive dog, jumped right in his lap. Let him pet her, didn't growl, didn't bark, loved him. And I was like, wow. He was Prince Charming. And many, many months later, we ended up moving in together. I got out of the hotel. Things were going good, I thought. And the whole illusion just, pew, like a sandcastle being hit by the waves of the ocean. And all of a sudden, I found myself no longer in a fairy tale, but a nightmare. And it was me struggling to stay afloat, me losing so much money, me having to ask for help, me having to get back into a position that I had been in prior, but I didn't have the courage to ask for help many years before. So in that, I see that was the lesson. Learn to ask. Learn to accept it. Learn that it doesn't make you weak when others can help you move forward. And honestly, that person's still trying to reach out to me because everything they did to me, their whole life basically fell apart. Because you can't do bad to people and expect rewards. Maybe in the world, in the humanistic concept. But when it comes down to a spiritual side, a higher power, you can't do wrong to good people and expect to get rewards. You get your just dues. If you go around hurting people, you're going to feel your own pain. That's karma. This is how we have to learn in life, because we can't look outside of ourselves and go, I shouldn't go that way because they got in a car accident, because I don't know what they were doing, but it's the road, and excuse that and then say, I'll never go that way again. We have to live and learn for ourselves. I remember being younger and my parents were like, I'm not going to keep telling you. You'll learn one day. And I can't wait till you learn. And I was like, whatever. You're so old. Here I am now, the parent. But, we have to let others decide for themselves, whether it's our friends, family, children, bosses, coworkers, whatever it is, people that we are connected to. They eventually have to learn. And the most important lesson you can teach them is who you are. And when you teach them who you are, that means you're setting boundaries that say, this is what I will accept. If you step over this, I don't care if we work together, I don't care how uncomfortable it's going to be. you lose access to me. Some people will test over and over and over. They'll begin to pay more attention to you. They'll begin to try to take breaks with you and run into you and do certain things because they want to test. They want to keep pushing. But I want. It doesn't matter what you want. Sometimes we have to make changes to get that we want, right? You can't just say, I want a new car and I'm going to stay on assistance forever. It doesn't necessarily work like that. You have to put in the effort, put in the work to better yourself, raise your vibration, create better manifestations, to attract better energies. Because where I'm at right now, like I said, the other one doesn't want to leave me alone, and I've made it very clear. Done deal, Wody. I am not going back to that. I finally did respond and said, look, I don't want your drama and your chaos. I'm busy focusing on my own world. I'm busy working. I'm busy taking care of my kids. I'm busy being there for my kids. I'm busy focusing on business ideas and things that I know can help move me forward in a positive manner. I'm busy talking to all of you. Because believe me, I love talking to all of you. When it comes down to it, and I know that I helped even one person, you don't know how many of you actually helped me in return. We build each other up. And that's what we're here to do, inspire one another to keep going. Because, man, I've worked so hard the last couple days. I was like, old lady this morning. My body hurts. I'm pushing all kinds of weight. But when it comes down to it, sometimes you do what you got to do to get by. And especially when you can do it in an honest way. Because I always make the joke, man, I might as well go to stripping because it's more lucrative at this point, and then I at least know that I'm getting screwed over. But that's always a joke. Younger years, it was not a joke. Fast money, easy money. But I had to learn that not all money is good money. You know, it got to a point where I even stopped wearing diamonds because I learned how they were obtained. What happened to mostly the children that had to go out and dig and harvest those. So it got to a point, more knowledge, you start learning what you will and won't accept. And it's necessary to do that with your personal relationships. Because when it comes down to it, how you're letting other people treat you is going to directly affect the way that you view yourself. Because when it came to the person that I allowed to come in and out of my life, the past that I was telling you about, my self-esteem was dropping. My courage was faltering. My ability to think clearly and try to push forward was almost null and void. I was losing sleep. I didn't want to eat. I was doing things that were way out of my character just to entertain him and have a good time when he'd come to visit. Because people tend to, when they think they got their claws in you, they get comfortable. They'll come and go. They'll do what they want. They'll make excuses. But I've read something so many times that reminded me, somebody reaching out to you and actually putting forth effort shows you they care. Because people will always put their time and energy into that which matters. At one point I had to make it be me. Because who's the most important person in your life? You. Me. To me. Who's the one person that has to live with your choices? You. Who's the one person that's going to lose or gain off of your decisions? You. This is when you're a stronger individual. When you allow people into your life that are going to use and abuse you, you give them all the power. But also understand, if they can control your emotions, if they can say something and you're like, man, and you start revving your engine, rolling through town, ticked off, get out of my way. When you let the demons in, or let them out, you are easily manipulated because you have no control over the one thing you possess, yourself. That is the one thing in this world you own. Mind, body, spirit. Don't let anybody else bring it down, because believe me, people that see that light, that smile, that hey, that breath of fresh air, a lot of them want to choke it out of you. They don't possess it, therefore they don't want to see it. Because in the end, what you present in a loving light makes them feel inadequate, and they know they don't possess it. And they don't possess it because they choose to manipulate and ignore the higher power that's trying to direct them into a better path of life. So, lessons will always come back around. I'm prepared for the next one. Because believe me, once I thought and I saw the outcome, I will definitely not go back in thinking. I will only go in knowing. And you know how we know? We take time. We give the harvest or the seed time to bloom and show us what it's going to be. Because sometimes we don't always know what we're planting. So be careful. I had to learn to slow down. My first child was so fast. Fast. Everything he did was fast. He's still fast. Shoot, he joined the Air Force so he could go fast. That was me. Because once again, if you ever look at your children, how they are, they're exactly who you were in the moment that you gave birth to them. That is a theory I have, because I've seen it with the difference in my children. I've seen it in the difference of how my mom was with each one of us girls. I see it in other people's kids. So understand, if you want to move forward in a good, healthy, productive way, you're going to have to slow down. That's hard. We live in a very fast, loud, noisy world. Loud, noisy, same thing. For me, a lot of it is sensory overload. The signs, the lights, the places, the traffic, the people. It's just too fast. Too fast, too furious. Eventually you got to put the brakes on. Take time, woosah. Give yourself a chance to look at yourself and say, what are we lacking today? Not what can someone give me, but what are we needing today? Because when you can feed yourself, you're healing. You're moving forward. You're building up a better consciousness for yourself and actually the world that you're going to exist in. Because everything is energetic. Everything you draw towards you shows you the state of existence in which you are believing and residing in. So be thoughtful. I've got to skedaddle and do my thing for the day. But peace, love, and light.